Now Jehovah God was forming from the ground every wild beast of the field and every flying creature of the heavens, and he began bringing them to the man to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call it, each living soul, that was its name. So the man was calling the names of all the domestic animals, and of the flying creatures of the heavens, and of every wild beast of the field. But for man there was found no helper as a complement of him. Genesis chapter 2, verses 19 and 20. The interesting about this scripture that is so well read, it was not until only a few years ago that I actually noticed. Was it a few years or just even more recent? I just recently noticed, maybe in the last 2 years or so, that Jehovah God was presenting these animals to Adam, wild and domestic beasts, as well as the flying creatures of the heavens. And I only identified the word or the words. Now Jehovah God was forming, that's active. That's an active verb that's in the process of present tense. He was forming in the present tense. That would be, how do people say that today? When real time. Yeah, that's in real time. That's not delayed. That's not a lapse in time. Real time. He was forming from the ground every wild beast of the field and every flying creature of the heavens, and began bringing them to the man to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call it, each living soul, that was its name. How quick, how magnificent is Jehovah God at what he does, creating. Rather quick, not millions of years. And that's, for the first time I saw it in the scriptures, said so simply you could miss it. That's the present tense. He was forming. Not that he had formed it, but he was doing that and presenting it them, forming, creating them, and presenting them to Adam. Did he not present Eve to Adam just as quickly? Put the man to sleep, took a bone from the man, and built a woman. Creation is not a hard process for Jehovah. We have undermined him and his abilities so often and elevated ourselves, lacking modesty. But Jehovah God is able to accomplish what he sets out to do, and rather quickly. And let's not make that mistake, because that means that we're not putting faith in the person who can move us forward to better things. And if there's any delay, well, it's basically because we're in the way. But he is making his advancement, and perhaps we're going to lag behind because there's no need for him to keep waiting for us to get the point. So for those who are looking for a better future under the true God, working with him, as he does have interesting work for people to do. He gave interesting work to Adam, and he collaborated with Adam. He allowed Adam to collaborate with him on projects. How wonderful is that? And that's the kind of God he is. How well do you know Jehovah? That's something to think about. It's not going to be boring, and we're going to be busy and enjoy the purpose and the missions that he gives us. That's a good thing. And he's not slow. That's even better. Think about that.